Hello everybody, today we'll be learning about rockets and what they are and how they work. What are rockets? Rockets are big containers which hold something that we want to send to space. Rockets can hold satellites, rovers, people, etc. And the larger the item they want to send, the larger the rocket must be, which in turn needs to have more fuel. Today, we'll be talking about how rockets take off and land, and how they are used to go to different planets. We're also going to be talking about why we use rockets, and also how expensive rockets are. How do rockets take off? Rockets usually take off via the thrusters. Most of the time, most if not all the fuel a spaceship has is used up for the takeoff. The reason why rockets take off is because of Sir Isaac Newton's third law of motion, which states that when there is an action, there is also an equal and opposite reaction. So when the engine is thrust forced downwards, the equal and opposite reaction is that the rocket starts to fly up. If you have ever seen any rocket take off, you may have seen the rocket seem like it's going to the side, or even look like it's flying sideways. That happens because while the rocket is going up, the Earth is still spinning. Hence, the rocket looks like it's going sideways. After takeoff. After takeoff, the rocket would have used all the remaining fuel for getting into orbit. After this, there is no reason to keep the rocket, so the rocket usually just falls back down on Earth after dispensing the satellite, person, resource, etc. to the desired location. For example, the space shuttle, which is now discontinued, used a giant orange rocket in the middle and the two rockets on the side just for taking off from Earth's gravity. After the shuttle reached space, the gigantic containers would be empty and would fall off the shuttle as it had no use anymore. Landing. Usually, when we send things to space, we don't need them to bring back to land, such as satellites, telescopes, etc. But we occasionally send humans or land rovers, so sometimes we must also land the carrier. There are multiple ways for spacecraft to land. For example, the Opportunity rover was landed safely on Mars by cushioning the landing vessel with balloons, and also a parachute. And another example would be the Space Shuttle, which was landed by space by a person. This needed an incredible amount of concentration and training. The landing of a space shuttle is a long and tedious process, and it's done by increasing the bank turn of the shuttle and tilting the tip 40 degrees. How some rockets can go to different planets. Rockets and planets are really far away from each other, but people can still get to those planets by using physics, more specifically Newton's first law, which is inertia, where anything in motion stays in motion if there is nothing that stops it, which can allow people to travel vast distances while in space, because in space, there's virtually nothing that can stop the spacecraft from stopping except from itself. This allows people to keep the amount of jet thrusting and fuel used to a minimum while traveling to a maximum. One example of this is when the Mars orbiter went to Mars with a budget of only $72 million, where the average low orbit space shuttle is $500 million. How expensive are rockets? The average cost of a rocket can vary from how far you want to go from Earth, but for most Earth orbiting rockets, it's about $100 to $200 million. The least expensive rocket is the Electron rocket, which is only $6 million, but it can carry only about 150 kg. But the most expensive rocket is the Saturn V, which is $2.6 billion. Goodbye, and I hope you like this video and subscribe.